Cal being Mako Cat making that YouTube video you're looking at. Alright, this is the unboxing of the Harley Benton DC580 left-hand cherry. Now, I don't know how I did it, but I managed to mute the mic on the phone when I was taping this, but anyway. Included in the package is a couple of sets of bass strings and 24 sets of 9-gauge Harley Benton value strings for electric guitar. The price for each set of strings ended up being just a little over $4, taxes in and everything included. So it's very well worth getting a whole whack of them, especially when you're ordering a guitar from Harley Benton, because it's all part of one shipping price that you'll receive. Now, in the end, I ended up with this DC580 for a little under $400, import fees and taxes all included. And the equivalent here of getting the same amount of strings with an Epiphone special would have been, well, about $600 or so. So I think I made a decent deal with it. Anyway, have a look at what the guitar looks like, and we'll hear some tones, and I'm going to be doing a string change, plus fret polishing, plus also fretboard cleaning, the whole works. So you'll have a look, and soon the noises will begin. First thing you'll notice about the DC580 is just how beautiful a guitar it is. The cherry's really beautiful, the binding's nice, the headstock looks good. Everything about the guitar speaks of a decent quality for what you're paying. And it looks a lot like an Epiphone Pro, which is what they were trying to emulate, but it's way under the price of an Epiphone Special. So it's really well worth it. Now, I have the pleasure of hindsight here, as I've already reset it and changed the strings and everything, but it plays really great. It's a lot of fun. If you want to get your AC/DC on, this is the guitar for you.
Yep. -15 and it's February 15th. And that means it's a fretful day. That means it's time to get to work.
Alright, so this is the Harley Benton DC580 Cherry Lefty, and it definitely needs to have that little fret sprout that's going on fixed up. It needs fret polishing, lots of grit, and it needs new strings, of course. So, gonna go through the whole thing with you, and hopefully this time I'll be able to film it properly. Okay, first things first is the neck is very straight, as you can see. So I will not have to adjust the truss rod right away. I may have to do it later when I switch these 10s on the strings to 9s, but not right away. Okay, this is just to give you a good idea of what you need to do to protect your binding when you're going to be getting that fret sprout off. Alright, now I'm going to be using the emery board all along there. Okay, but as you can see, the frets are protruding, so hopefully I'll be able to do this without damaging the binding. So I will check as I go along, but first I have to remove these strings anyway. So here we go. Okay, so here we go. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to have to start untightening all the strings. Loosen them all. And then you can move on to the next step. Right, Rocco? Right over here, boy. Okay, so this is a while you're here moment. When you're loosening all the strings, it's a good idea. Just make sure everything is snug. You take the smooth side of the spanner and you just make sure that everything is just hand tight. It doesn't have to be more than that. Okay, another while you're here thing to do is to make sure that your screws on your tuning pegs are snug. Like I said, just snug. They don't have to be more than that. Okay, just a quick word about the strings. Now, these end up being about $4 a pack when you count in the shipping and everything else, which is a lot less expensive than any of the brands available here in Canada. So, I have it on good authority that these are good strings that actually can last. So we're going to put them to the test because I bought a whole whack of them. Okay, as before, everything's taped up, and now it's time to start with the fret erasers and the fret guard, when I find it, and get started on it. Okay, I'm going to start over here at the end. And I'm going to start with the lowest of the low. And let's see, I don't think I'm going to be touching any frets right now. So you go along right to the edge and you go over. Same thing, you're going along the tape there so you're not rubbing on the board or the binding. Just go along like that, back and forth, and then you switch up to the next highest grit and you move along from there. Okay, it's about 20 minutes later and we're back, and just to show you the amount of debris that these erasers do take off. And also, I'm going to show you a quick close-up how beautiful and gleaming all these frets are now. So, last thing left to do is to polish the fretboard with some F1 oil and then restring her. Okay, as you can see, I've put a drop on every fret along the fretboard of F1 oil. So I'm going to treat it by rubbing it with my sock that I use, and once that's well done, I'm going to start stringing up this guitar. Okay, and here's how they look afterwards. More saturated, they look a lot nicer. And now it's getting time to string up the guitar. Okay, so here we are again right after the string change and the polishing and the fretboard oiling, and even though they used to have 10s on it, it seems like the 9 hasn't created a problem as far as keeping the fretboard straight. So I'm going to have a look at this again tomorrow and see if it holds. If it does, great. If not, I'll have to straighten it out. next time, everyone. It's Cal B saying, be happy.